power in.
Oh, Mr. Big Guy, huh?
Yeah, and said he was going to get all of his cell phones so that we didn't have to come to the inn anymore to see one another.
Oh my gosh. I mean, all that money, I think it's kind of...
I think it's messing with his head.
I think it's kind of gone to his head. He thinks he's Mr. Big Guy. He's probably got a coat with fur on it and all that, huh?
He does.
Oh.
He actually does. He said it has a mink collar.
A mink collar coat. I don't know if we can take all this, can we?
Well, I just hope that he doesn't go too far astray.
But do you think all that money's going to really give him joy?
I'm afraid not.
I don't think it will either. You know, we're talking about, in the Bible, about joy. You know, there's a neat story in there about a couple of brothers. In fact, they were twins. Twins.
Cain and Abel.
No, not Cain and Abel. They were born pretty much the same time. That's made them twins, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. And they were born to, let's see, Abraham had Isaac. Isaac had Abraham, Isaac, and they changed his name later to Israel.
You're talking about Jacob.
Jacob had a twin brother.
Esau.
Yeah, nobody remembers Esau.
Well, he came first, didn't he?
Esau was the older brother. He came first, and Esau was the big, he ended up being a big hunter. He'd go out and kill the animals, bring them in, his mom would cook them, and his dad, he was really close to Esau, because Esau would bring in the food, you know?
Yeah.
Had a big relationship. And I think his mother, who was Rebecca, I think, Rebecca kind of liked Jacob, the younger one, better. Jacob, he kind of stayed in the house. He didn't go out a lot. His brother was a big hunter.
He hung out with his mom a lot.
He hung out with his mom. So his mom kind of liked Jacob a little. I think she kind of favored Jacob a little bit. But now, early in the story, Esau comes in, and he's really hungry. And he's about to starve. He says, man, I have something to eat. I need something to eat. And guess who's over there cooking the food? Jacob. So Jacob's got all this good food, and he says, you know what? Man, could you fix me some food? He said, well, maybe I could. And he said, and then he asked him about his birthright. Now, the birthright is when your parents would die and leave everything to you. Usually the older person had the birthright. They got most of all the things, and they had power over the younger brother. So now Esau was in line to get all the things once Rebecca and Isaac died. And you know what? Jacob said, you want this food? You're really hungry, aren't you? He said, yeah, I'm really hungry. I'm about to die. I'm so hungry. He said, I'll tell you what. Give up your birthright, and I'll bring this food to you. Now, isn't that silly? He's going to give up everything just for a meal? Now, I've had some pretty good meals.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'd be giving up everything just for a meal. But you know what Esau did? He said, okay, you can have my birthright. Just bring the food.
He really didn't care about that much, did he?
He didn't care about it that much. He didn't think it was that big a deal.
Yeah.
But it turned out it was a big deal.
Yes.
So Jacob said, okay, we'll do that. Here, I'll serve you the food, and you've given up your birthright. Well, I think Esau thought about it later. He said, man, that was kind of dumb to do that. Why would I have done that? So now later on in the story, he really gets nailed this time.
That's when Isaac is really getting old, and he's on his deathbed.
Isaac's old. He's really decrepit, and so he wants one good last meal. So like everybody focused on food.
That's right.
He wanted one. He says, you know what? I want my son Esau to go out and you know, bring some food in and fix it for just one good meal. Well, Esau said, okay, I'll do that. So he went out. Well, during that time, Jacob's over there, and he hears the story. He's thinking, golly, he wants that food. Boy, I could be real pleasing. Well, he didn't think much about it, but his mother, who really liked Jacob more, says, I tell you what, we'll fool your father.
That's right.
We're going to play a trick on him. Let's let him think you're Esau, because when he gets this good meal, he's going to give you a special blessing. And then normally he's going to give this blessing to Esau because Esau's the one bringing the food. So I tell you what, before he gets back, let's get some food. I'll fix some food. And you pretend that you're Esau. When it was interesting, Esau, he was kind of one of these big, kind of hairy guys. And Jacob was kind of a smooth skinned. You know, he didn't get outdoors a whole lot. And Jacob said, well, you know, it was kind of sad. His mother kind of plotted this thing. Jacob said, that isn't right. We shouldn't really do that. And she said, well, it's not that big a deal. And he said, well, if I do it, he's going to think, he's going to know I'm not Esau because he's going to want to touch my hands. And he's going to say, wait a minute, you don't have those big hairy hands. You're not Esau, you're Jacob. So you know what she did? She got the skin of an animal, kind of like that fur collar.
Yes.
That Barney has on his coat. It's probably rabbit, it's probably not me. But anyway, got the fur and draped it on him. So that when you know, if you couldn't see good and you fell, it would feel like you were really hairy. So I don't think Jacob felt real good about doing it.
You know, she did one other thing though.
What?
She got some of Esau's clothes and put them on Jacob so that he would smell like Esau.
That's right. She did. So here is the father, and he can hardly see. And so Jacob comes up and says, well, I'm Esau, and I'm bringing you that good food because he knows he's going to get a blessing. And you know, golly, Isaac said, wait a minute. Your voice, you sound like Jacob. You don't sound like Esau. See, he already figured something's not right.
Couldn't see real well.
But when he got over there, he felt his clothes. And he could smell the clothes because, you know, I'm sure it had that hunting type, you know, been outdoors a lot. And then he said, let me feel your hand. And he kind of felt, he could feel that fur. And he says, well, you sound like Jacob, but you got to be Esau.
That's right.
So they played a trick. He said, I tell you what, since you brought me this good food, Esau, Jacob spoke this. I'm not Esau, but I'm going to get the blessing. I'll bless you, and you'll be in charge of everything. You will have power over Jacob. Oh, my gracious. So, Esau comes back, and guess what? He finds out he's been tricked. He said, well, not only did I do something stupid some time ago, now my little brother, my younger twin brother, has played a trick on me. And I think you know what he said he's going to do? He's going to find him. Because about that time, he got out of there, I think. I'm going to find him and I'm going to kill him.
Yep.
I mean, that's how mad he was about it because he had been mistreated. But now where the joy comes into the story, now here it is, Esau's really been done wrong. And he should have gotten all the blessings in the family. He should have gotten all the things.
Right.
He should have power over Jacob because he was the older brother, but it's not going to happen that way. And he was so upset, he went back to his father and cried and said, please give me a blessing. Just give me a blessing. And Isaac just couldn't do it. Just couldn't do it. So sometime later, Jacob's got all the stuff, and it's been past that time, and I think Esau wanted to kill him, but he's still kind of worried that Esau may come back someday and try to kill him because of what's happened. And guess what? He sees Esau coming, and he said, oh my gosh, don't you think he kind of felt nervous?
Oh, I'm sure he was nervous.
And Esau brought all these people in. He had like 200 men and all these warriors and all these people. And so Jacob's saying, oh gracious, what's going to happen? So he kind of gets ready. You know, he gets the women and children, kind of gets them situated and all that. And he sees Esau coming. He says, oh my, Esau's going to really do it. So he starts bowing down before Esau to try to soften him up a little bit. And guess what? Here comes the joy. Now after Esau has gone through all this, made some bad decisions, and really got cheated out of his inheritance and everything, he comes up and hugs him, kisses him, and tells him how much he loves him. In spite of all of that. And I think Jacob was just overwhelmed. He couldn't believe it. He was shocked. He just knew Esau was going to try to hurt him. And Esau just held him and told him how much he loved him. And Jacob, I think, felt bad, don't you think,
Oh, yes.
about what happened? And then he started offering things and stuff at that time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they had a joyful reunion.
Had a joyful reunion. So out of where, you know, and I think in life sometimes things can make us real bitter and we're mad. And maybe somebody mistreats us. Because I tell you all the time, that's going to happen sometimes, isn't it? Sometimes you're not going to get what's fair. Maybe it's in school and maybe the teacher thinks you're the one talking and you're not the one talking. And you may have to suffer. But through all of this sort of not being treated right, they had a joyful reunion in the Lord. Because they put the other person first, and they put the Lord first and said, you know, I'm not going to be mad about what's happened. I'm going to forget that. I'm not going to let the old devil get my joy. Because joy comes from the Lord. And I said, you know, I may have been treated wrong, but I am going to be joyful. And that's what happened. Esau and Jacob had a joyful reunion.
And that was, Esau had forgiven Jacob
Forgiven
for
him.
what had happened. Because so many years had passed,
Right.
and he realized that it's still his only brother.
Right.
And he loved him.
Right. And forgiveness is a big part of that, isn't it? Because when we're treated wrong, we need to forgive people. Jesus calls us to forgive those, even when people mistreat us. And that's part of the process of having joy, because when you forgive them, you can be joyful then.
That's right.
You're no longer burdened by it. Great story. Twins. I wonder if we have any twins here. Twins out there. No.
I don't think so. Do we have any?
Twins? Okay, well, what a gorgeous tree.
Isn't that beautiful?
That's beautiful.
Of course, they keep rearranging ornaments, and I thought it looked just fine to start with.
Do
But
they have any bubble lights?
I
No
don't
bubble
think
lights.
so. Those are kind of hard to find.
They are hard to find. We have to get some bubble lights for that.
Yeah, that'd be really nice.
Well, I guess I'm going to run along.
All right.
I got to get back over to the diner and see what, you know, get that thing fixed up and get me a tree too.
Well, that sounds good.
I'm going to meet some bubble lights on my tree.
All right.
All right. Great. Well, it's good talking to
Good
you,
to see you,
Steph.
Doc.
God bless you.